where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by BetOnline.AG. BetOnline.AG is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. Basketball, MLB, NHL, right to UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code, that's BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary tight end Justyn Dunn. JD, how we doing, buddy?
Little Parks, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? You doing all right?
Doing all right.
Gravy. The weather has been beautiful. Been very mild out here in the state of Kentucky. I've really been enjoying it. And so, man, it's the summer seasons, right? We're getting into all the swing of things. Summer where everybody's going, vacationing. Everybody go on vacation and taking a few trips. So just getting away for the summer, though. But everything's been good, man. What about you? What's been happening?
Can't complain. It's funny. We talk about, like, you know, as things move along, I think it's all cycle, you know, like we're going to, you know, mandatory minicamps here. You got training camp coming up in a couple months. It's like NBA season's over. I think I read online, like people are depressed that like it's 2 months away from the football season starting, 4 months away from basketball season starting. So like this is kind of like the dead period of sports. I mean, obviously baseball and other things going on, but yeah, I can't complain. Going on vacation tomorrow, flying to Spain, and then going to Budapest for my brother's wedding. His wife's Hungarian, so yeah, I have to do a best man speech, and I'll have a translator right next to me because I have to have the people there. Like 75% of the people there are going to be Hungarian. I don't know if they'll be able to understand me in my very enthusiastic way of speaking. So that
will your comedy translate over into that? Are you going to have all of that, you know, put together? Like that's like one of those challenges, right?
I was talking to my brother. My brother said it'd be very just like direct with it. Don't have many jokes because he may not translate over, and be very short with it. I was like, that's fine with me. I was like, I'll give 5 bullet points and I'll get in, get out. I won't make it about me. I won't throw any jokes in there or any. He's like, you know, because at the end of the day, it's a toast, not a roast. And I'd love to roast my brother and give him a couple jabs here and there. But no, I'll be quick with it. And so the people at the wedding can understand my humor or lack thereof of humor, because I won't try to throw any jokes in there. But yeah, you know, it's simple things. You know, you thank the host country, you thank the parents for putting it on, say 1 or 2 things about the husband and wife, and then to them. And that's it.
To you and to your life, you know. So
yeah, but so we'll be Spain, Hungary, Italy, Austria, and then back. So we'll be back like the end of June, early July. So and that means next week I'll be in Hungary for our episode on next week, and then the following week I'll be in Italy for that one, I believe. So.
Right.
And so Chief Concerns will be on the road all throughout Europe.
Whoa, man, it'll be good. I'd love to see it. Love to see those towns, you know, get a little glimpse of it. So we have to show all the fans, you know, just where you live and how you live it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be posting, keeping you guys posted on social media. I'll be sure to post photos of me wearing my Chiefs gear in these different towns and cities.
Yeah. Oh man, so I met this couple. I was down in Louisville. And when I was walking out, me and Susan had a beautiful dinner at the Distill. beautiful hotel and restaurant was repealed. And we're walking out, and we see these two people coming in with Chiefs jerseys. I'm like, oh, let me stop right here before they come in. Sure enough, they walk in. So Chiefs fans, huh? Oh yeah, it was your favorite NFL team. And, he's from Indiana. He was just like, yeah, man. I was like, well, man, I used to play with the Chiefs. He said, no, you kidding me? I said, yeah. He said, what's your name? I said, Jason Dunn. He said, oh my gosh, tight end. Yeah, I was like, yeah. So we had a really nice conversation. He was, he was kind of telling me, he was like, man, you know what? He was just talking about all the things the Chiefs was going through right now. Oh man, I wish Kelce got signed to a bigger deal. Chris Jones gets signed. What do you think about that? And so we had a really good conversation. I took a couple of pictures. I haven't put it on Twitter yet, but I said I was going to post it. I said, man, you on Twitter? He's like, yeah. But he said, but I'm one of those guys that I don't like people know who I am because I like to argue. I was like, okay, I got you. Whatever works for you. But now, man, we had a really good time. I meant to share that. I don't know. I just brought it up because I was just thinking about Chiefs fans and people being out here. Like you said, it's kind of the bear tier, the dead period now. It was just kind of just to see in uniforms, have the jerseys on. I was just like, okay, who's wearing jerseys right now, right? So
it's respect.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, South Bend, Indiana. I think shout out to Nick for the support, man. Definitely. So.
Did you tell about the podcast? So hopefully you can hear the story.
He immediately started following us. Oh man, awesome! He said, man, because I just love, and so that's our thing, man. We want to get our podcast out to more people. Now, hearing our people love our podcast. We just need to get out to more people to hear what we have to say, man. So, we like all the support that people's giving us over the time and the days and whatnot. So we're just gonna keep this thing going. So regardless of you in Europe doing your thing, and Hungary and Milan and all those, man, Chiefs Concerns is going to be coming to you wherever we are.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be try to promote it to some of the Europeans, some of the Italians there over some spaghetti.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, big football fans, they really are.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that'll be fun, and that's cool that you got to see Chiefs fans, Chiefs Kingdoms all over the place. Maybe Indiana, Louisville, Virginia, DC, Europe.
Yes.
So obviously, lots to get into. Mandatory minicamp started today, so we're going to get into some brass tacks here. And you kind of mentioned it with your conversation you had with the fan Nick. So today was the start of mandatory minicamp, and all eyes were on one specific person. Obviously, everyone wanted to see 15 and Kelce, and they were there. But one guy was not there. We're actually 4 guys. So you had a total of 6 guys who weren't there today. 2 were because of injury, Tariq Wharton and Isaiah Pacheco with injury. And then you had 4 guys, Blake Bell, Jerick McKinnon, and Trey Smith. We don't know why they weren't there. But the one main guy was number 95, Chris Jones, who obviously contract extension is going to his last year of his deal. He wants to get a deal done. That's Brett Veach's goal, was to get a deal done with him. And we had some tweets about so Jeremy Fowler tweeted, Chiefs DL, Chris Jones, who is not attending minicamp, has a cap hit of $28.2 million in 2023. The last of his current deal, an extension would likely lower that number greatly. And then Adam Schefter said that 4-time Pro Bowler Chris Jones, who Kansas City is open to signing to a contract extension this summer, is not at the team's mandatory minicamp today. Chris Jones, earlier before minicamp, he went on Instagram, posted a video of him doing what is it, the money thing right here. A video of him doing that, which said "coming for it all" #year 8. So my question to you is: we've said all along when's this going to happen? If you want even a chance to sign DeAndre Hopkins to get more money, we should do this. And it's been a goal since day one. But my question to you is: mandatory minicamp story today. He was not there. What does this mean? Does this mean things aren't going well? The fact that he's not there mandatory minicamp with this whole thing, obviously an extension's looming. Is this a bad thing that he's not there?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think anything. It means nothing other than they just haven't worked everything out. I know Chris would love to be there in the facility. I know he would love to be around his guys practicing and stuff. But he's got to take his best interest at heart. Is what he has to do, and so he feels like, he's owed an extension. He feels like he needs to go ahead and get this thing done right now, which I have no problem with that whatsoever. Work these things out at this moment and get it over with, get it done. Go ahead and sew this guy up, sew Chris up, man. I mean, seriously, man. When you look at it, you're talking about arguably the top guy at his position in the NFL. Okay, he is your number one priority on the team besides Patrick Mahomes. That's just how it works. Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and then Travis Kelce, then everybody else. That's how the hierarchy goes for the Chiefs, at least for me. That's the way I look at it. And so, Chris is just, look, he's going to stay in shape. You don't have to worry about him staying in shape. You don't have to worry about his passion and what he's going to give to the team. He's shown that. He's done everything we asked him to do. He's been absolutely phenomenal, incredible at his position. I don't look at this as even more than just, hey, man, look, let's go ahead and get something done. Let's get it all on paper. Let's get it out of the way. That way I could go ahead and just go play and be a Chief for life. How about that? Pushing to try to make it a Chief for life, man. But yeah, this is, I don't mean anything. Not at all. Now, other guys, obviously, if I look at it like this, if it's mandatory, minicamp, other guys better be there. Okay? If you hurt, sure. Or if you got an excuse, that's another thing. Maybe family issues or something like that. I'm sure that, that's the only reason guys would miss. But Chris, I ain't looking at anything like this, man. I ain't really worried about it too much, to be honest with you. Not at all.
I think because I've seen a lot of worried fans, and everyone's been kind of worried all throughout the offseason because the deal hasn't happened yet. And I think there's fans just overall are just kind of. I think obviously we can win without Tyreek Hill, but I think with the way that whole thing transpired, I think people are just kind of scared that situation will happen again with Chris Jones. Do you understand? I mean, do you think that's a possibility?
I do. If there was somebody else on defense, I was saying like, well, shoot, he's, that's like comparable to Travis Kelce, right? On the other side. Nobody makes an impact on defense like Chris Jones does. That's just the reality. That's the truth. Nobody. It ain't taken away from other guys on the team. We got a lot of talented guys on defense. We got a very young secondary that's very good, that's going to get even better. Very talented linebacker core is very good. It's going to get even better. The game is won up front. The game is won up front. Period, point blank. And the thing is, because of maybe some of the pressures and whatnot that we were able to generate over the past years, is because Chris Jones is in the middle. He was the one creating a lot of the havoc. He's the one that's making a lot of the plays. And so when you have a guy who's collapsing the pocket, you got a guy who's pushing guys back, he's eating double teams like it's nothing. You ain't gonna block Chris one-on-one. It's gonna be tough to do. He's gonna create pressure. That allows everybody else around him to be effective. So that's just a reality. And if you don't have that guy there, like a Chris Jones, you'll watch everybody else's game start to slough off. You will, because you don't have that bruiser in the middle, that guy that's running guys down, taking the quarterback, making plays, big plays when he needs to. He does all of that and then some for the Chiefs. So just his presence, all of those different things. You talking about it would be deplete having a guy on that defensive line without a guy as talented as Chris Jones. So
yeah, you bring up a good point as far as because that D line, it's very young. It's like he is the anchor. I mean, he's everything. He's the heart and soul of the defense. But it's a very. You're right. Like we don't. Well, we're relying on 6th round Keandre Coburn this year at the other D tackle. I mean, like obviously we have other guys too, but yeah, you're right. There's nobody else that's like can replicate or even do anything near what he has, what he's done. And with so many vets gone too, Clark gone, Dunlap gone. It's really it's a young man's show on that defense, and then Chris Jones.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, and also when you have somebody like Patrick Mahomes who could facilitate certain plays, throws, and whatnot, then that can elevate, a Tyreek Hill. right? We know Tyreek Hill's he's got the speed, he can catch, he can make plays, he can make everybody miss him. I mean, he's got talent that you just a rarity to see. You just don't see talent like that. But you got to have a guy to get the ball to him. You got a guy that can make something. Well, Tyreek's down there somewhere, right? I can make this throw sidearm or whatever and put it on the money, and Tyreek can blast for it. That's what made them say, hey, can we get this done without a guy like Tyreek Hill? Well, we've seen that it was possible. Can our defense be as effective with a guy like Chris Jones? I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible whatsoever. And so just how important Patrick Mahomes is to the offense, Chris Jones is just as important to the defense. So, yeah, everybody else is, it's the pieces around them that, who become better because of their play, put it that way. So,
JD, and I think fans in general don't realize, I guess, how strenuous and how long negotiating a contract can take. I think people just think it's like, hey, let's work on a deal. Let's get it done next 2 hours. You get done. It's business. Not things don't happen like that. Yes, they can happen fast, but can you talk about like what kind of goes on behind the scenes, which can make it such a long and strenuous process sometimes?
Yeah, but especially with a lot of money being thrown around. You got to work out a lot of different things. You got to work out the term of the contract is how long it's going to be. Okay, what's going to be the incentive base? What is going to be the bonuses? Being tied into it. So you're talking about all these different things on how you make money, how you could kind of hide money, but also too it goes into thinking about like Chiefs as far as giving this type of money up, long-term deals, like long-term thinking it through, like for future-wise, like what does it leave us to, what are we thinking about possibly down the road making a deal with also. So it's a tenuous process because there's so much to it. There's so much to it. And so Chiefs want to get it right on their side, and Chris Jones absolutely, positively want to get it right on his side, right? And so I think it's what was one of those things that you had to deal with Orlando Brown Jr., dealing with him twice, is because there's so much to it. It's what guys want, what guys are looking for, what they feel like is owed to them, and they should fight for all those things, right? And the Chiefs going to look and fight for the things that they want and feel like it's going to work for them. Look, they can talk. It's definitely going to take some time, but whenever this gets done, it's going to get done. But I have no problem in thinking Chris is not going to be here for the year. He'll be here. They'll work something out. And so this offseason is the time to get it done. It's the time to do it. Like I said, you don't have to worry about Chris Jones and when he's going to come into shape and all those. You don't have to worry about those things with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nate Taylor of The Athletic reported that, he reported a few weeks back, but their goal is to get this done by training camp. This is only mandatory minicamp. And if you look at the last time he got his big deal was July 14th, though. So we're still a month and a day away from when he got his last deal. So just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. The same thing can happen late July, and they can even take it up to late July, like early August. Because when does training camp start? Was it?
Yeah, usually
mid-August or early?
July. Yeah, July.
Late July, early August.
Yeah, late July. So it may even take a couple of weeks into training camp. Could be. I think when they start talking, like Chris is talking about, he's like, look, I need to go ahead and get this money, get this thing passed out, so I can just go ahead and play and do what I do. So he's not a guy that's going to slough off after he gets the deal. That's what he's always. You wonder about that too. Some guys get deals, these big contracts, and next thing you know, you don't see suckers no more. You're like, what's all the performance you was getting before we got that money, right? And so it's crazy. It's just crazy to even think that the Chiefs won't get this thing done, but I think they will. Yeah, I got confidence that they will.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys. We said before on the show that he's the Mahomes of our defense. And it's like when we gave him that big contract, he's done the opposite of underperforming. He's overperformed that contract, and that's why he's going to get this extension that he well deserves. So it's like, let's get this done. There's not a person in Chiefs Kingdom who does not want him to get his money. So
not one person. So if there is, then you are an anomaly from somewhere. Like, I don't want him. I don't want to sign Chris Jones. He's too expensive. What? Okay, all right. See where we at defensively then.
I know. Man, that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I don't even want to think about that. So, so hopefully they get this done by the time I get back from Europe, or even before that. Yeah. So there's also a good thing too. Like, we just saw him a week ago in the White House with everybody on the team. Obviously, it was last year, some of the last year guys, but he was there and stuff. So it didn't seem like there was any friction or fracture. I think he was just right above Brett Veach. So like he was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Veach said that was, I think that one press conference we talked about, that was the number one goal, was getting Chris Jones' deal done. So that is obviously something they're working on.
Yeah, you don't need him now. You don't need him now. Let them go and work that stuff out, man. Yeah, we worry about all the other guys, what they're doing over there.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to talk about the one guy right now who's getting a lot of hype. Since we signed him, he's been getting a lot of hype. We've talked about on the show some of the one-handed catches he's had in minicamp last year in OTAs. Peter Schrager of NFL Network had Justyn Ross as his top 5 breakout wide receivers this year coming up. And this is just on the heels of our receivers coach, Connor Embry, praising Justyn Ross. He said he worked hard last year. He was in every meeting and all the stuff that everyone else was at. So kind of got a year under his belt also, just without playing aspect of it. He's been great. And yeah, I'm excited for him to see him out on the field and see what he can do. He's another kind of different body. We don't have someone like him. So he's good. Right now, the Chiefs have currently 12 wide receivers on the roster. Last year, we were talking about, because we were big on the Josh Gordon train last year. We didn't know if we were going to keep 7, 8 wide receivers. Yeah. With 12 guys we have on the roster right now, obviously 90 man, how many receivers do you think we're going to carry going into the season? And do you think Justyn Ross will be one of those receivers? And also talk about what the receiver coach said about how we don't have a body like him. And we don't really.
Yeah. No, man, Connor, I know Connor is, his pops was a tight ends coach with the Kansas City John Embry.
Oh, wow.
My type of coach. Yeah, so Connor's been around, man. He, went to UCLA. He's a wide receiver, came into the league. So he knows. He sees it. So I trust his word or what he's saying. But the thing is, hopefully for everything like Connor said, hopefully everything he's learned being in meetings and just being around translate to being on the field. And so we know this guy has talent. We know he's a talented wide receiver. He knows he was probably a top pick, probably first 2 or 3 rounds, and probably has a chip on his shoulder for not being, chosen that way. So he's got a lot of incentive, man. He's got a lot of challenges as far as like competing against guys, but he's pushing to get his name out there to just keep showing who he is and who everybody thought he was before the injury and what they kind of derailed what he was trying to do into the NFL, right? So, look, Justyn Ross is going to be one of those guys is a surprise, okay? He's going to be one of those really, really feel-good stories that you like to hear and see, just overcoming adversity and things happening to him, and now he's victorious. And I'm pushing for him. Hey, Justyn Ross, man, he's got a lot of passion in him because of what he wants to show. He wants to show competing against the guys that's out here, guys that's getting drafted and other names that's been flying out there, right? Shoot, but also too, he wants to show to himself what he can do, right? So it's a lot of it. So he's got this on both fronts about showing everything that he can do. He just his talent. So I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. But make no mistake about it, man. There's going to be some roster fights this season. It is going to be some fights this season. Look, 12 guys on the roster, man, that's huge. That's huge. And there are a lot of talented receivers. That's another thing. So I don't know how many we're going to carry. I had to think we're going to be around 7, at least 7. Shoot. man, you might get a guy thrown in, maybe 8, maybe somewhere. I don't know. But I had to think 7 just because of the talent that you got there. So I'm looking at MVS, Skyy Moore. Uh, we got
Tony.
there's Tony, right? We got Justyn Ross. I think he's in there. We got Rasheed Rice. Still got to develop. I think James is going to be in there. Okay. Now we're talking about, oh man, is Justin Watson going to make that on the 7? He could be the 7th guy. That may be kind of a big body type of deal. It might be the 7th. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe 7 guys. But it's going to be, man, it's going to be a tight race. Everybody's going to show what they can do. Believe me, they're going to show what they're going to do. Have some fun, man. Quarterbacks going to have some fun throwing some balls to wide receivers this year. So I can't wait to see the challenge in training camp and the preseason games. That's what I want to see. And so give these guys every opportunity, man. Every single opportunity. It's going to be some battles out there, some real competition. But I think Justyn Ross is right there, man, in the mix of the top 5. The top 5. As he works into the top 4 and 3, that's what's going to really come. That's what's going to come out. This is what's going to show, during this time. Is he one of those top 3 guys? Top 4 guys? Is he top 5? Right? So we'll see. We'll see. Can't wait for it.
And kind of going on what Coach Embry said, like he's so different. He's a different kind of guy that we don't have. And it's like he's just looking at it. I guess just looking physique, right? You got KT and Skyy together. You got Richie James, also a smaller statured guy. And then you got MVS, and then you have Justyn Ross is more obviously. I think he might be a little taller than MVS, but he's more along the same lines as that type of stature, right? I mean,
yeah. See, that's all I was wondering. But and that's almost like, okay, what does he mean by that? We don't have a guy like that here. So I'm thinking MVS is what? He's 6'2", isn't he? Isn't he something like that?
Yeah, MVS 6'4", and I believe Ross is 6'4" as well.
Yeah. So it's okay, MVS. But maybe like the talent, like body control, be able to, make, certain tough catches. Maybe that's what he's talking about. So I think because MVS is more of straight ahead speed, straight line speed. That's what we kind of look at it because he's a burner. He take the top of the defense. We know when he can pick him up and put him down with the best of them. Okay. Mm-hmm. Justyn Ross may be able to get out of the breaks better than MVS. And so that's what he might be able to show. Just that big body in the middle, coming across the middle, making tough catches on the sideline, getting out of break and whatnot. So we talking about those things. The athletic ability may be different from MVS on that. Maybe that's what he means. But he said it. So if he's saying it, there's a reason he's saying it.
Mm. Yeah. And Ross has gotten a lot of praise. I know we mentioned Peter Schrager, mentioning him as the top 5 breakout guys. And last year, Schrager was he was on the Justin Watson train saying, watch out for this kid. Watson came out and did his things. Schrager spends a lot of time in Kansas City, so he's kind of he kind of sees what's going on around there. He mentioned Justin Watson being the big deal last year. Came in, Justin Watson was productive for us. Ross has been getting praise from Mahomes, Kelce, Coach Embry. So he's getting the hype is there. And also we've talked about this before. I hope people aren't too go overboard with him, expecting numbers out of this world for him. We mentioned there's 12 guys in the roster right here. We could 7 or 8 of those guys can be productive guys in the season, especially with the way we're playing offense now, where everyone's kind of eating every other week. That's going to be tough to get significant numbers. Him getting any numbers would be great because there's 12 guys he's competing with for this a spot to be in this active roster. So it's going to be an interesting battle.
Man, he ain't played an NFL football game.
Yeah.
So like you said, any numbers, it would be great numbers. We can project whatever. Look, everybody's got to pick their pony. Okay, I get it. Peter's picking his pony right now for the breakout. And the thing is, he gets a pat on the back if he's right. Right? Oh my God, look at Peter. They're knocking it out the park again and whatnot. Shoot. So, hey man, Peter's picking his pony. I like Justyn Ross. I love it because I just love the competition that's in the room. I love the whole group. I do. The thing is, we've been talking about D-Hop because we just talk about the talent D-Hop gives and whatnot. We understand the contract and the money thing is the difficult part of it. But the guys talking about just the talent in the room, I said, man, these guys are not chopped liver. These guys are just not some guy. These guys are guys.
Yep.
These guys are real dudes. These guys are talented guys that can go get it, pick them up, put them down, catch anything. We know what we have in our wide receiver room. We know we have on our roster. So I'm excited about it all. I am. I'm excited about it all. And so Justyn Ross is just one of those guys that fits the bill, a guy that I'm excited about.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many different competitions. You got obviously 12 receivers. You have a million tight ends. I think we have 5 with Fortson, Gray, Bell, Kelce, Bushman. Did I say Bushman? Bushman 5.
Bushman's number 5. Yeah.
And then running backs. I mean, look, the skill players. I mean, it's so deep. And then the running backs. Ely, Prince, Pacheco, McKinnon, CH. And like that, I guess it.
Is it? That's tough right there. Just naming them.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. It's good talent. And the thing is, when we name these players, it all fits into what Andy Reid does well, game planning wise. Offensively, like these guys fit what we do, and so it's good to have somebody that is an added bonus, like a Justin Watson, who can. Justyn Ross, who is 6'4", who can go up and catch balls. Hey, look, I hope and I pray this man is healthy. So that's it. That's all.
Yep.
We're gonna add on to the roster, man. Let's we go where with it.
Between running backs, tight ends, and receivers, that's 22 players.
Yeah. Deep.
That's a lot.
Deep.
They have some decisions to make this offseason or this upcoming season.
Yes, they do.
I mean, what's that?
I said they ain't gonna make it easy for him either. So.
No. And also, I think the thing with Ross, because he's gotten so much hype, if he goes to practice squad, he'll be ending up somewhere else. He's gotten a lot of hype, and obviously we'll see what he does in his preseason. And if he shows flashes, obviously I think we're going to keep him on the active roster. But if he does a little bit during preseason and he goes to the practice squad, someone else is going to take him, and good for him because any of these guys who get picked up by another team to be on an active roster, great for them.
You know what? I think he's kind of I want to say a Brett Veach project. Okay. But I think he's one of those guys that now we're going to hold on to this guy. You know what I'm saying? We're going to hold on to him. We're going to make sure he's getting a roster spot. If he's working hard, and you're supposed to, reward him if he is doing what he's supposed to be doing out there on the field, right? So, shoot, I think, but Brett Veach might have a guy that he loves. He fell in love with. I'm saying this because I was watching an episode of Dwight Clark. And how what's the name? Bill Walsh loved Dwight Clark, and Dwight Clark thought he was going to get cut. He said he never took his clothes off out of his locker in his bags. And Joe Montana was like, "Man, what are you doing?" It's like, "Man, you're going to make the roster." And who solidified it was obviously Bill Walsh. He was Bill Walsh's guy.
Wow.
And so, but he thought he was going to get cut every week. He just thought like, hey, man, I'm just being here, I'm being a body and stuff. Man, Bill Walsh loved him, watched everything he loved doing, explained the offense to him. And he said, he started understanding the game a little bit more, because Bill Walsh, obviously because of his, his intellect into the game and whatnot, he was like, man, he just made it easier for me. He said, the only reason I was here was because of Bill Walsh. So, yeah, man, it was a great segment. God rest his soul.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I'm sure you've seen that before with certain position coaches, certain coaches, like that's their guy. Like somebody on the team was like, that's their guy. They're gonna vouch for them. Yeah,
and so if Connor's sitting over there and he's like, look, this guy's got a lot to him that we just don't have here, then okay, you need to see that too. That well.
We usually see, and Hard Knocks doesn't really go into this stuff because usually when it's cut day, they don't really go into the kind of internal battles they have over guys getting cut, guys not getting cut. You see the draft day where there's certain guys who have, let's draft this guy, and certain people are unhappy in the draft room and stuff. But do you not? I don't know if you ever heard of something like this like the internal stuff that goes on when they're trying to cut down to the 53. Like certain coaches will go to bat for a certain guy they want on the team, but that guy doesn't end up making the team. Like they lose battles. I mean, have you ever heard of such a thing happen?
You got to be somewhat neutral. You have to be. But obviously, coaches do have their favorites. Coaches do believe like certain guys should make it, and I know they go battle for certain guys, right? And listen, what they do is like, well, look, we all gonna have to agree on this guy, okay? For him to, and you need to at least verify or like justify why this guy has a roster spot. I want you to justify it because if you're standing on this, your name is standing on this guy, okay? And it could be your job. They can start looking at you like, well, this, hey, I know this is your guy, but is he, hold on. Is he, can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
All right. Is he is the guy, you want to go to bat for, lose a job over?
Mm.
Is he that type of guy? That's what it is. All right. I had somebody who's calling in.
Oh, you're good. That's interesting. Yeah, because I always wondered about that because, obviously everyone knows every position. Certain coaches have guys they're big fans of and stuff. And when it comes down to cut down day, I'm sure there is some kind of internal battles. They kind of fight to keep a guy on the roster. Like, oh man, he deserves to be on the spot. But then you have another coach who may like somebody else who should be on their spot. And everyone's kind of has to justify who's getting what spot. And are we going to carry more corners than receivers and all that stuff?
Yeah. That's how the coaching staff, that's how they do it. And then you know what they do? They'll take in and they start watching all the tapes. And everybody's going to sit up there and they're going to watch all these guys that may be on the cusp, might be right on the edge of this. And they like, okay, well, what do you think, Coach Dunn? Well, that's what you got to do. Everybody's going to go around and talk about this guy and what they think and how he's going to fit. So, yeah.
Yeah. So one of those days, like, I have no dog in the fight, but I will say this. That's funny. So we kind of mentioned, talking about the receiver room. We talked about this one guy who is, I think, been, of all the signings we've had this offseason, I think he's the one guy that everyone's kind of overlooking. No one's really talking about Richie James at all. And he's one guy from day one, was at the Texas workouts with Mahomes. He's been in the league, going from the 49ers to the Giants, and he's put up numbers. Special teams guy, but also playing on the slot, posted career numbers this past year playing with Daniel Jones and the Giants. But I'm not the biggest analytics guy, but NFL's Next Gen Stats released some stats last week that were pretty interesting to me. That Richie James was named the most reliable pass catcher of this past season. Just going deeper into the numbers here, the stats looked at pass catchers who mostly consistently hauled in passes that weren't expected to be completed, not those who stuffed the stat sheet. So not looking at really overall numbers, but looking at passes that weren't supposed to be completed, which I'm sure there's a lot of opportunities with Daniel Jones. I'm sure he had plenty of those type of opportunities.
That sucker paid.
Yeah, I know. They look for catch rate over expected CROE metrics, which measures the difficulty of completion using a number of factors, including separation from nearest defender, depth of target, and speed. So James posted a season-long catch rate of 81.4%, but he had an expected catch rate of 70.4%. That means he caught over 11% more passes than expected, given all the different variables. So he caught 11 more percentage points than what he was supposed to catch, which is unbelievable. And like we said, he played with Daniel Jones, so he had to kind of do a little bit more, and I think Pat's going to make it a little easier on him. But his catch rate over expected was better than any other receiver who had met the aforementioned criteria. He helped quarterbacks targeting him post a 119.6 passer rating, the third best mark of any pass catcher on the list. And of his 70 targets, only 13 resulted in incompletions. So, JD, like we talked about, Justyn Ross is getting a lot of hype. Rashee Rice, the second-round receiver, is obviously getting a lot of hype. But Richie James isn't really getting much hype and hasn't really been talked about that much this offseason. But when I saw his numbers come out, and obviously making life a little bit easier playing with Patrick Mahomes in this offense that just does the best for receivers, how excited are you about Richie James? And do you think he's being overlooked as a guy we brought in this offseason?
Actually, I do. I actually do. Man, when he came on the roster and I started looking over him a little more, I was really excited about this guy. Still am, to be honest with you. To me, he's our return guy. That's how I look at it. If I had to say, okay, if I'm choosing somebody on a roster out of those 12 guys, who's wide receivers, guys that can make guys miss, guys could, have burners, all those things, he fits the bill for me. To me, I'm saying he's our return guy. I don't want to put anybody else back there. Let him be the guy, okay? Because he'll fill up a roster spot. He'll be a guy that offense, like you said, catch rate over expected, which is just crazy to me. This whole arbitrary measuring analysis. Which, okay. Anyway, but that hey, that is a beautiful stat to be great at. Okay, it is a beautiful stat to be great at. But he's going to battle just like everybody else to make the roster. He's going to have to battle to make himself in that top 5. Is he a top 5 receiver? He fits incredibly well what we do offensively. We know that. We know he has all the ability, does a great job. He was getting open, making a lot of catches, played a lot bigger than what he was. It's almost like a Tyreek-esque type of deal guy, right? He doesn't have all Tyreek, but he has, some of those attributes. So he could be a weapon for us, absolute weapon for us. But I love him. But for all the names that's being said out here, we always forget about Mr. James. We always forget about Mr. James. And so I think it's been a little shade. I think it's been a little bit put him on the back burner, man. And he's going to be one of those guys that's going to keep showing up all training camp, preseason games. He's going to keep showing up. He's a guy that you've had to sit there and like, man, he's going to be really hard to cut this guy. Like, there's no reason to cut him. And if we want a guy to be solidified in position that can do it all, he can do it. I think he has a ton of talent. He's shown it. He's worked hard to get to where he's been and where he's at. He's been catching balls from Daniel Jones. Got Daniel Jones paid.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, he to me, that joker's a magician. Magician to do that. Nah, Daniel got a little talent, man. But man, dude, come on. Without a doubt, he's an incredible talent, man. He's an incredible talent for sure. But I think he has been getting some shade, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And I think he's a perfect, we talked about Justyn Ross being a perfect guy to rotate in reps with MVS. Richie James is a perfect guy to be rotating with the tiny man offense that we always talk about with Skyy and KT. I think he's a perfect guy. And, people talk about injury concerns with KT. People talk about injury concerns even with Skyy a little bit. This guy can easily plug and play at the positions that those guys are playing. And it's funny when those metrics came out, I saw the comments on Twitter. It's like, man, you guys let the NFL let Kansas City get this guy. What the heck? How did they come up with him? It's like,
hey, true, doing their homework, and they was ready to leave out of a place. He was ready to leave out of New York to come to a place to win a championship, and it's made sense. KT was already here. Him and KT had played together, and so to him, I'm sure KT had a lot to do with it. Like, yo, listen, hey man, come on here. Y'all need to get this guy. He's going to be available. Shoot. So I'm sure it had to do something to do why he's here. But plug and play, no doubt. Doesn't skip a beat. Shoot, he might come in and start half the games. Not just as a return guy. I'm talking about literally better on the field. On the field, because he has experience. Yeah, he has great experience. How many balls did he catch last year?
It was a career high for him. Last year he caught 57 for 569 and 4 touchdowns.
So he could get open. I watched the catches he was making, man. He could get open. He could find those soft windows. He could find all of that in coverage, in zones and whatnot. He beat guys in man. He's got it all. He has a good game to him. So he's a guy that, because of his experience, because of all the things he can do, I can't see a guy like getting rid of a guy like that at all. he is a prize that we need to utilize and exploit defenses with every chance we get.
The fact that he's shown flashes with Daniel Jones, with Jimmy G, with Nick
Yeah.
Mullins at quarterback in San Francisco. I mean, he's shown flashes with, I'm not knocking these quarterbacks, but they aren't Patrick Mahomes and they aren't play callers like Andy Reid who will make life easier for receivers. Both those guys do. So like that's also to see the guy excel with Daniel Jones in that Giants offense. It's kind of interesting to see how they'll translate in Kansas City, and I think it'll make life easier for the guy, and he won't have to make these unexpected catches that the advanced stats says he did last year.
Right. Yeah, and look, he's polished his game up. He's polished his game up, and I love every bit of it. But yeah, these not expected to catch. Whose expectations are these, and who's like? I can't stand analytics sometimes. I really can't. But hey, like I said before, wonderful, right? Hey, if you're the king of the castle in the stat, then so be it. Okay. If you're the man that got 10 toes, to everybody that got 8, then good. Okay, whatever.
Hey, most reliable pass catcher. Forget about the numbers. The NFL's most reliable pass catcher according to Next Gen Stats.
Oh, good.
Yeah, when I saw that headline, most reliable pass catcher, I was like, who is it? Like Justin Jefferson? And it was like, Richie James? What? Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Well,
yeah. So I think as you said, most overlooked guy, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of fans at how well he plays in this offense this year. Really, it's going to be interesting to see how he does. And yeah, it's another guy amongst that 12 wide receivers that's going to have to work for that spot, and he's obviously shown he can do that in less than ideal situations.
Well, yeah, and now in the return game, I think he needs to be your answer in return game, right? Yep. He needs to be your answer. So you don't want to pick a KT back there. You don't want to keep trying to find other guys to do it. We know Jerry Neely can do it. Pushing for him to make the roster, we don't know if he's going to be. He's going to be right there on the cusp of things. So I think Richie James is a guy that could be solidified in that spot, right?
Yep, I think as of right now, it's Richie James, Ely, Nico Rubigio, undrafted rookie from Fresno State. I think I even saw that Justyn Ross was returning some punts. Deneric Prince was getting some return at kick return.
Hey, I love those guys. Look, the shiftier guys, let them guys do it. Okay, like who makes somebody miss in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Hey, look, love Pacheco at running back, but hey, man, when he was back there returning kickoffs, we was like, no. Yeah. But he had to learn this, and thank God it worked out. He became, our bell cow, right?
Yep. I think Dave Tube said that Deneric Prince reminds him of Niall Davis back there as a return man. So I mean, I can see the speed and the body, the physique. Yeah, I can definitely see the measurables and stuff. Yeah, I can see that. Will he be as successful as Niall Davis was at kick return? We'll see. But it's cool. And honestly, it just shows how much these guys want to see the field. That you're even seeing Justyn Ross returning punts. In no way, shape, or form should Justyn Ross be returning punts. His injury history, and I don't want him returning punts. I mean, I just don't want that. But it's showing these guys are doing whatever they can to make that team, and they know it's tough sledding, man. It's tough with the amount of skills that we have on this team.
Yeah, man. Yeah, put it in the skill players, the skill guys. Make sure you put it in their hands. Okay. Mm-hmm. You don't need no joker back there 6'4" trying to return punts and kickoffs. Unless it was Tamarick Vanover.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one kind of outlier I'm trying to think of, like a tall guy. Was Eddie Drummond was pretty tall, right? He wasn't a tall guy.
No.
Yeah, it's his return man. They're usually short statured guys, little water bugs.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay, so our final topic here. This is kind of big news right now in the NFL. You're kind of seeing overall that running backs, we've been kind of seeing this trend going towards this way, but now running backs are trying to say no. They're putting a stop to and trying to reset this market. Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, and Saquon Barkley are guys right now who are all saying they're not going to report until they get a new contract, and they want to reset the market. They want to change it. And for the last few years, you've seen the running backs aren't getting drafted high. Running backs, once their contract's up, they're letting them. The teams are letting these guys go and not really giving them the big paydays, and you're not seeing that. And these guys are trying to stop that. And Bleacher Report came out with an article talking about how the Chiefs have the second most cost efficient running back room in the NFL. So my question to you is obviously the model that Brett Veach has gone with us, and I think even since drafting CEH in the first round, I don't think you're ever going to see the Chiefs draft a running back as long as Brett Veach is there in the first round again. But Pacheco, 7th rounder, leading our backfield last year. Jerick McKinnon, a veteran minimum guy who we brought back a few years in a row at a vet min deal. And then Denaric Prince, undrafted guy coming in and could get some reps. Could actually get playing time this year. Do you think that the way Brett Veach is going with our running backs is kind of it's what's going to continue to happen in the NFL? Kind of going more value and cost efficient rather than paying top guys, even guys like Saquon Barkley, who are phenomenal running backs. But do you see the NFL kind of switching up and maybe going back to the way it was, where the running backs were getting paid top dollar, or do you see this market reset these guys are trying to go to really even going to do anything?
You know what? I don't think that every team will be successful with that model. I just don't. I just, certain teams, we kind of looked upon it. We did. We looked on this. We didn't know Pacheco was going to be what he was. We didn't know CEH wasn't going to be what we thought he was going to be. And so I think we just kind of looked upon the situation, what it was, right? And so we just kind of took advantage of it. And everybody plays their part. Everybody, as a collective, man, do a really good job. And so I think because we don't have to have that number one running back being a huge part of our offense because we have Patrick Mahomes, that's the reason, because we're more of a pass-happy offense as opposed to running the ball. Daniel Jones needs Saquon Barkley. Kirk Cousins needs Dalvin Cook. Garoppolo needs Josh Jacobs. Okay? Justin Herbert needs an Austin Eckler. He's got some good receivers. He does. He's going to be able to throw the ball around, but you're going to have a guy back there that's going to be able to do what Austin Eckler gave. And I don't see him have anybody like that on the roster. Every roster, you need at least two guys, two running backs that are capable with the workload that's designed for them, that's demanded of them in a football game. In a football, that's the reality of it. That's the truth. And so, yeah, you might look out and have, somebody like a Derrick Henry or somebody that could do the one. But yeah, you could get maybe running back by committee, but every team's not going to be good with that model.
Yeah, I think with the Minnesota Vikings situation, they cut Cook, and now they have Alexander Madison, who has shown flashes of being who can be the guy. Obviously, we're going to see this year when he gets a full workload. Tough to see that. And had a few spot starts 2 years ago where Cook was out. Madison kind of manned the load for a few of those games and looked pretty well, looked good in doing so. But yeah, the other situations, it's tough. And obviously, you're right. It's one thing that I guess they didn't really factor into this list. It's like, well, they have Patrick Mahomes back there. So like, and look, Buffalo's a good example. They've tried to trot out this RB committee, which hasn't worked out for them. They every year they've been trying to find a decent run game, and they really haven't had that since Josh Allen's been there. And that's hurt them because they go to a pass-happy mode, and where Josh Allen's leading your backfield and carries, that's not sustainable. And we're seeing it's not sustainable.
Right. Well, that's why they brought in Davin's brother, James Cook. So they're hoping he's going to be like his brother.
Yeah, I know.
He was awesome down in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So, and like you said, it's not sustainable. You want Josh Allen keep taking those hits like that. Let him hand the ball off. So you want him throwing the ball down the field. Okay? Not saying he can't do this, but the longevity of playing that position or having a franchise quarterback is where you want this to go, right? You don't want him ACL and all these different things happening. So, yeah, man. You got to have Josh. Look, Joe Burrow, had to have a mixing. You got to have a guy, okay? And so he got wide receivers go the ball around. Hand the ball off. This is what you want him to do. Hand the ball off to somebody. Let him do what he does best is with this arm, not with his leg. But, man, I think all three of those guys you just named, Eckler, Jacobs, and Cook, I think y'all need to hold out. I think they need to reset the market. I think for them to get back the respect for that running backs in the NFL, these major guys have to do it. It's kind of one of those things because you see like somebody like Zeke down there, right? Who they was like, look, we'll pay you money to walk away. We're fine eating whatever, for you not to come back. And because he got paid a lot of money, and I was just like, yo, Zeke, man, is not the same dude. And everybody, oh, yeah, man. I'm like, he's not. You can say that. I don't know. Remember, we was arguing about this about Zeke. I forgot who was on here on the roster, but I just didn't feel like he was the same guy. So it's going to make sense with some guys not. But shoot, if you're predicated on running the football, you definitely got to have that guy. Josh Jacobs is your guy in Oakland. You got wide receivers around him, shoot, we know you got wide receivers in the Chargers. You need him. Dalvin Cook, definitely need him. Kansas City, we can put guys back there. But we're going to throw the football. We're going to put some ball down the field, throwing it first before anything. If it's 3rd and 1, we are throwing the ball. Can you imagine that? That's what we've been doing. That was our 3rd and 1 play. Is running the ball, either that or handing the ball off to Sherman or somebody. The fullback died. That was it. That was our 3rd and 1 play. So
or a tight end QB sneak.
Oh yeah. So now having Pacheco gives you a little bit more options, right? Yeah, hey, we can throw the ball. We can run the ball down here. Hey, I say the reason we go to the Super Bowl got beat by Cincinnati is because we got down to the red zone within the 5-yard line and couldn't run the ball in.
Yep.
We didn't have that guy. Shoot, you need guys like that. You need those guys. We got a good roster of guys because everybody, like I said before, plays with position well. Pacheco's, he's a headhunter. He's going to go in and he's going to run over somebody. Jeff McKinnon's going to run around somebody. Prince, we think, is going to run over somebody. CH hopes is going to be healthy. He can run over and run around different people. So,
yeah,
but some rosters, you need that guy. So you just need it.
Yeah. Not every team is blessed with like a guy like Patrick Mahomes. He's one of a kind talent and a coach like Andy Reid. And yeah, you can make the argument. You talk about the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. You can make the argument if we weren't running the ball the way we were running the ball in the Super Bowl with Mahomes' hobbled ankle, probably don't win that game.
Yes, that's a fact. So. We just happen to fall into this piece where we had with the running back by committee. It works, and it works well for us. But make no mistake about it. First, man, we throwing the ball first. With 3rd down, 3rd and short, we're thinking about passing before we run. Maybe it's down and starting to maybe shift a little bit. Maybe it's starting to tilt a little bit more because of Pacheco.
Mm-hmm.
But before then. Andy, what we doing? Oh, we passing. I'm looking at my passing sheet. This is what we looking at. This is what, we like this. Yeah, we doing, wild banana or the flat.
Spider Y2 banana.
Yeah.
So do you think that the way the Chiefs are winning with the kind of going this cost-efficient running back room, do you think that is the way of the future for the NFL, or do you think we'll see the bell cow running back kind of emerge again, where the running back kind of becomes this high-powered thing, or you say it's just going to depend on the quarterback and your situation there? That's what's going to happen.
It's going to depend on the quarterback for sure, but you're just going to have guys who are just studs at running back. I mean, why would you not take them? If a team needs a running back, you want that guy. I would want to balance, offensive coordinator wise. I would want to be a more balanced attack. That's what I want to be able to do. The more the defense has to see and worry about, to me, it just makes sense. And so if I have a guy that's capable back here that you have to worry about every time I hand the ball off to him, then guess what? The run opens up the pass. It doesn't change. It's always the way. It's going to be that thing. And so, no, I don't see those things changing anytime soon. I think it's going to stay where it is right now. Some teams are going to be running back by committee. We are that right at this moment. But other teams, yeah, you're going to have that bell cow. The NFL is going to have teams that need bell cows at their position.
Yeah. Not every team can throw the ball 50 times a game and get away with that.
They do it. Mm-hmm.
I think Richie James's numbers last year show you can't do that.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that does it for us, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We hope you guys liked everything we talked about today, the Justyn Ross stuff, Richie James, this overall big running back conversation that's really everyone's talking about right now. But yeah, that does it for us. Hopefully, Christian has a sign by next time we meet when I'm in Hungary next week, JD.
Hey, if he is, even if he isn't, it's not a big deal. Okay, I just want you go and enjoy yourself in Hungary and Milan and all that. Don't worry about Chris Jones signing. I know you won't. Yeah, but everybody else, y'all, everybody calm down. Everything is going to take care of itself. All right, just give them time, give them space. Everything's fine. Everything's okay.
Yeah. Brett Veach will do it. I'm sure everyone who's seen Brett Veach's photos over the last few days, this is why he's not getting sleep, because he's working out the kinks in this whole deal.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
All right, my brother. Be safe. See y'all later.
Brother.
All right. Love you too.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.